How's it going, YouTube? This is Photo Talk episode number 3, and this is going to be covering the workflow, the digital workflow, and the workflow from your tablets, iPhones, mobile phones, whatever, as well as on your desktop, laptop, whatever. I've actually recorded this about 3 times now. It's just a quick little side note. Whenever you record stuff, especially where, you're going to put recording into this, and you're recording, for an extended period of time, when you think that your levels are all great and everything, and it turns out that nothing is being recorded where it should be. So at the end of your recording, you end up having really, really bad levels, and your sound is just coming up really, really poorly. For example, I thought I'd record this pretty good, and I thought everything was good, and I went back and checked the audio levels and everything, and everything was extremely low. Turned out some setting got clicked, and it decided that it was going to bring the level way down. Even though all the meters looked like they were good, it did something weird. So, note to self, note to the audience, note to y'all, whenever you're recording stuff, record a little test bit and check over that. So now that that's out of the way, we're going to start talking about the workflow once again. So I'm going to divide this into a couple different categories: mobile and the desktop side, or the computer side. And originally, all of my stuff, if I took it on the phone, it just got texted to friends, maybe shared to Instagram, Facebook, the different social networking sites. But now with the iFi card, and I have a couple of pretty good editing programs on my phone, Snapseed being one of them, and what's the other two? Pixlr. They have 2 different apps that I'm using from them. Let me go ahead and pull them up. Pixlr Express and Pixlr-O-Matic. And Pixlr-O-Matic really just appears to be one of those, just kind of a filters type app. And then Pixlr Express looks to be more like Snapseed, where you can adjust, the effects and everything, and apply different amounts and adjust, contrasts and stuff, and you can sharpen, denoise, get rid of red eye, color splash, focus blur, color vibrance, autofix, crop, rotate, contrast, whiten, touch up. And then you can go in and you can do your different effects and stuff, which are kind of like your Facebook type things. But not Facebook, but Instagram. And then you can kind of do different little stickers and things. So it's kind of cool. But Snapseed's a little more, I guess when you would look, it would be more of like an adult type app. The other two, they have kind of, goofy little things in there on the Pixel, but they also do have, adult type. And when I say adult, I mean people, actual, not just filters and stuff, but you can actually make adjustments to it and do more than just, put the stickers of sunglasses in, hey, summertime, stuff like that. So, but both of them are really good apps. I'm saying both because, yeah. But with the iFi card and those apps, I can take photos from my phone, or from my camera rather, my little bridge camera, super zoom camera, whatever you want to look, whichever one you want to call it, and I can send those to my phone. And when they're on the phone, I can go ahead and edit them, and fix things before I share them, and I can share them, to different sites and whatnot. So it's with being able to do that and being able to edit everything and just send it out directly from the phone. To me, it's a lot easier to do that than it is to, whereas I still edit stuff on the computer, but it's just a lot easier to be able to do the editing and stuff on the phone for when I want to send the photos out to friends or family or share them through social networking. I can just do that on my phone and then quickly send it out to people. Now, on the video side of the phone thing, I don't have any editing software. If any of y'all are using any kind of, decent free editing applications for Android phones specifically. Sorry, I had a little yawn there. It'd be great to know because, I've just been kind of looking and none of them have really impressed me very much. The videos and stuff that I shoot that I record on the phone, most of them are just the videos that go up to YouTube, and half the time I'll have to take 2 or 3 different takes on each video to get a final end product that I'm happy with, and I feel like uploading enough. Since I try to keep things simple, which is, I guess, the main takeaway from this video is keep your process simple, and I'll get back to that and discuss more about that a little bit later on, after I cover the desktop or laptop or the actual sitting down at a computer and doing your editing. But on the phone, just being able to have it to where I can take a photo from an actual decent camera and send it to people. Not that the phone doesn't have a good built-in camera, it does, but having a camera where you have full manual control of everything, it's a lot nicer because I can take a nice photo with that, send it to the phone, do a few little tweaks to it, and then send that out to friends and family and social networking sites and everything. And then when they get the picture, because it's taken with a better camera, and they're getting it as a text message, they're blown away by the quality, saying, "Wow, how did you do that on you? Did you take that with your phone?" And they tell them, "Well, kind of, but not really. I took it on with this such and such camera, and I'm using this card, and I sent it to myself, and I'm like, wow, that's really cool. I've heard about those cards, or I've never heard of that card. I just thought they were, you get multiple responses from people, but just the reaction from people is worth it to me. When people are like, "Man, I really like that picture, the quality, the clarity, everything." It's just, so, and then you have the other side, which is the whole desktop side of things. And I do still a majority of my work on the desktop, everything coming from the T3 because I shoot in RAW, and I just don't see the need, or I don't really feel like having to record, a JPEG and a RAW file on it. And, to me that camera just, it I wouldn't feel right editing the photos from that camera on my phone. Is there a problem if you're doing it on the, no, not really, but for my workflow and for the way I want to do things, I would, which I'm not saying I'll never put the iFi card in there, because I'm sure, there'll be a time where, either that iFi card will go in the DSLR or another iFi card will. But to me, with the stuff that comes from the DSLR, I'm going to bring it into either Digital Photo Professional, which came with the camera, or Photoshop Elements. Sorry about that yawn. But, and then also on the computer, I also use Adobe Premiere Elements for the video side of things, and also for producing these video podcasts. So, but having those two separate workflows that I use, the computer one, and the important thing about the computer one is I'm doing a lot of my stuff on a laptop. So whenever I want to edit stuff and I want to work on videos and I want to work on photos, I have to take the laptop out of the bag, set everything up, hook it up, plug it in, get all the wires situated, and then I can start editing. So it's a lot of hassle to set up that. Whereas when I'm using the iFi card and it's going to my phone, it's immediately taking the photo, immediately send it to the phone, and I can edit it whenever I'm having lunch or having a coffee or something, and I can immediately share that out. Whereas whenever it goes to the phone, I may be taking photos at 8 o'clock, 6 o'clock, 7, in the morning time, and I'm not sitting down at the computer and actually editing those photos till much later in the evening. 10 o'clock at night, I'll be sitting down editing the photos and stuff because, I have to, like I said, I have to get everything out. Now, one thing I'm looking at doing to, kind of get as a workaround on that is I'm looking at getting a Mac Mini. Why a Mac Mini? Well, I already have the display, I have keyboard, mouse, all that, yada yada. And so getting a Mac Mini kind of makes sense. And looking at the processing specs, the one I'm looking at getting, my MacBook is has the Intel i5 processor. The Mac Mini I'm looking at has the i7 processor, so it's a little bigger processor. I think they have about the same amount of RAM, 4 gigs, bigger hard drive, but really that's not a big deal to me. As I put all my work stuff on the on my external hard drive. And it'll get my laptop back from being used for my hobbies and stuff to back to solely for school use, and then I can just things will stay organized on the desktop with the icons and folders. I'll have all my school stuff, and I won't have photo stuff cluttering in with that and getting all mixed up. And so that, and like I said, having it to where it's not a hassle to set up and record. Either be recording one of these little video podcasts or editing stuff. If with the video podcast, just set up my microphone at the desk and leave it set up. Whereas this, I have to set up the microphone, I have to set up the laptop. So there's a little bit of hassle in it. So to me, just being able to have that an easy platform where everything's together, everything's in one place, everything's ready to go. I'll be able to just whenever I want to create content or work on content, I can just go ahead and sit down and get it going, whereas this, I have to set up things, and so there's a little more hassle, and, I just like to have things simple. So that kind of goes off into a little side topic of things, is that you should always have something to drink whenever you're going to be speaking for a while, because your voice kind of starts to get a little, your voice starts to get a little, or your throat gets dry. So, but so another thing is keeping your workflow to where it's not a burden. Keep not just keeping your workflow, but talking about the sitting down and editing and stuff, but keeping the whole process. If you watched my previous video when I talked about your whole skill versus gear, when you get into the mindset of you just start buying all this gear, you start getting so cluttered because and this isn't to get to where buying gears that make you think you're a better photographer, but when you're doing it as a hobby, and to go out and take some photos or shoot some video, you're having to bring out tons and tons of gear. It starts to get to be a burden, because every time you go out, you got to grab cameras, you got to grab lenses, filters, cables, batteries, everything. You got to make sure everything's charged the night before, or the day before, whatever the case may be, or in time and all. So, keeping things simple, and like me, like I started doing with just going to take the camera body and a lens, and maybe a flash and an extension tube. Just bring a very minimal gear with you. And this even kind of ties back into the first video that I did, talking about the minimalist mindset, is when you start getting into where you're the whole process, because the workflow starts from when you turn the camera on and you begin to frame your shot, all the way to getting that final image exported. If the whole process is full of headaches and aggravation, it's going to go from a hobby that you're doing all the time to a hobby that you're only going to do once every 6 months, and there's a family function, and then after that you're going to start saying, I don't want to bring all this crap. So just keeping it to where your workflow is comfortable and it's an enjoyment, and you do it with a smile on your face and not a forced smile. You're genuinely loving doing it. And me, I've got the gear and stuff, and I enjoy doing it, but sometimes I just don't like to bring all that gear with me. So when I'm just going out, I just want to go have some fun. I'll even, and And sometimes it even just becomes a fun challenge to limit myself to, okay, I can only bring what I can fit in this small camera bag. I can only, or I'm only going to bring the camera, a lens, and a flash. And, just going out there and going, see what I can create with limited tools, And it ends up being more fun because you deal with sitting there and, figuring, you figure out your limitations more versus having it to where, okay, I can't get this shot. Let me I got another lens. Okay, we're good to go. But when you have that one lens, that even if, and especially if it's a prime lens, and you got with just that one prime lens, you figure out, okay, I need to step forward, I need to step back, I need to stand up, stand up a little straighter and get a little taller, or squat down a little bit more, force you to move yourself, and not just turn the zoom ring and zoom in, which is nice about that that bridge camera I have. You can zoom way in on stuff, but still, but I'm not lugging around a ton of different lenses to get that whole range. So it's fun in itself. But it's to me, keep it simple. But then there's the other aspect of it with the lugging the gear around. If you're going somewhere and you're doing a shoot for somebody, whether it be, where they're expecting to get something, or they're paying you for it, even if it's something you're doing for work and it's just, you're just getting paid your normal salary at work, they're expecting, they know everybody kind of has that idea. He's the photographer in the office. So they're going to expect that you're going to do a good job. And, in that case, you probably ought to bring your stuff with you, maybe not bring it all in. I had an event I had to shoot for work one time, and I brought in my bag, my laptop bag, I brought in my camera bag. I had the tripods and monopods with me, but all that stuff stayed in the car. And the reason why it stayed in the car is because I really wasn't sure if I was going to need it or not. So I wanted to have it with me, but I didn't necessarily want to have to bring it with me. I'd done the event before, the year before. So it was just a matter of, I knew what I needed. I knew what I didn't need to bring. So I was just able to, go into that event. And with having all the gear with me, I got there early. Big thing. Get there early. If you can. Sometimes, some things you need to get there when it's happening. Especially if it's some kind of event. If it's something for a hobby type thing, like you going to a car show and you're doing something. That's gonna be, you're gonna have to get there whenever you can get in. But as far as this was, I was there early. I was able to set up the cameras. I used 2 different cameras, and I had both of them set up with different lenses on them. But I still, when I went in there to go shoot, I pretty much knew what I needed to bring. I brought the cameras, the lenses, and, I had one of the other guys in there that was, I pretty much told him, I'm like, look, since, you're in here with me, and I'm guessing you're going to try to help me out a little bit, if I need you to, can you go run and grab, this other lens if I need one, or, whatever. And, I ended up, because I knew what the limitations of my gear was, having worked with both pieces of equipment extensively, I knew that I would be pretty good with that. And then just using the light in the room and stuff. And it turned out really nice. And, a couple of days later, when the person that wanted the photos done, had time to look at them, she was really pleased. And, compared it to the work the year before, they were like, we're really happy with your work last year. We're really happy that you did it this year. And you just, you blew us away. And, I even don't know why I'm getting a little weird buzz. I think my phone was a little too close to the wires there. So that's just one thing, is that, when you have your whole workflow set up and you end up being able to deliver, whenever you, because I didn't clutter my workflow, I brought the computer with me and I shot everything in JPEG, so I was able to deliver it to them none of it needed to be edited and stuff. They were going to take care of all that. So it was really simple, and it was just being able to get the product to them quickly and easily. They were really happy with the work, and I was really happy that they were happy. So that's pretty much it. It's just getting everything, just have a workflow that works and doesn't overburden you, and it keeps you relaxed and happy with what you're doing. So that's pretty much about it. So thanks for watching. Leave some comments, start a discussion about let me know what your workflow is, how you do things, ways that you found through the years that you've improved your workflow. Hit the like button and subscribe. Thanks for watching.